good morning everybody. Yeah, it's an early morning, but as I mentioned in my summer update video, things were going to change just like they do every summer. And so yeah, it's a strange time, it's actually around 4:30 in the morning, or a little afterwards, on this Saturday. Thank God I don't have to work on this Saturday. So, today being June 20th. Anyway, as far as I know, I don't have to work. But anyway, thought I'd do a little bit of a review for Worlds Unite Part 4, aka Mega Man issue 50. That's right, the 50th issue of Mega Man. And pretty much, in case you don't know by now, is the last of 5 issues for the time being. That's right, we have 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55 remaining. And in the Mega Man, for some odd reason, I'm guessing more financial than anything, and as I mentioned in my previous video talking about it, I think it also allows Ian Flynn and other people to kind of catch up on a lot of things storyline wise with Sonic and other titles, as well as maybe catch up behind the scenes subscription wise, keep things in order. Mega Man will be going on hiatus. Not canceled, just hiatus. You know, it's just something that happens. Anyway, I digitally bought digitally issue 50 through Comixology, courtesy of Amazon, as well as just moments ago I ordered both the physical copy of issue 50 as well as Worlds Unite Battle Book number 1. And the Battle Book, just like the Worlds Unite covers for the issues, has its own variant issues as well. It has the one that's been advertised. It has something like a work in progress issue or variant, and it has a variant cover with Mega Man's face on one side, or half of Mega Man's face on one side, and Sonic's, of course, with the next one coming out on the other. So, with that said, what were my thoughts about Worlds Unite Worlds Unite number 4, Mega Man, the 50th issue? Well, I will say this: it pretty much, I thought it was a decent conclusion to the first act of the crossover. Basically, you know, as I called it, and I'm sure anybody else called it, the Doctor's plan to have Sonic and Mega Man kind of blame Sigma. Well, basically, Wily and Eggman's plan to have Sonic and Mega Man revert kind of, backfired in their face. You know what I mean? I mean, the plan did succeed, but not the way they wanted. You see, originally, if you read the last 2 issues, the original plan was for Sonic and Mega Man to return to the Lost Hex base, back to Sigma's base, face off with each other there, revert, then attack Sigma, and then allow the Doctors to take advantage of it, so they could take control of the power that Sigma was harnessing. But unfortunately, like I said, part of the plan worked, but then the rest basically backfired, as I pretty much predicted it would. I mean, like I said, it's kind of like it was a bittersweet backfire. It's like, yes, it succeeded, but it backfired in the face because it happened at a time they didn't expect, and it happened when Sigma was watching. So pretty much Sigma was able to identify that it was the Doctors that were behind this, and he sent 3 of the Deadly Six to go after them. And pretty much as I predicted as well, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here or anything, and I'm sure nobody else does, but pretty much as I predicted and figured out, and I'm sure anybody else that's read this that has read this pretty much predicted and figured out before even the issue came out, because the plan basically backfiring, the Doctors ran for their lives, basically ran like the cowards they are. Yeah, they're basically like, oh, I mean, basically you can see the look on their face thanks to the artwork. I mean, I know some people have questions about that artwork too, but you can kind of see the expression on the faces like, oh crap, they're running like crap, we're screwed. Like, when they're running off, they're pretty much like, crap, we're screwed. We gotta get out of here kind of deal. So, yeah, it's basically going to lead to them teaming up with Sonic and Mega Man and their friends, but after probably basically explaining why this is going on and the real reason behind the roboticization of both Sonic and Mega Man, which I'm pretty sure Sonic and Mega Man are not going to be too thrilled of, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they add a bit of comedic humor in there with Styx when she tries to figure it out, and maybe she goes like, oh, don't tell me, this was just another Eggman plot to take control kind of deal. So yeah. Anyway though, yeah, Sonic and Mega Man, they do, in the roboticized master form, do fight each other, and everybody notices it, and they're thinking, some of them are thinking at first, should we attack the other robots out there? And then the robot masters are thinking, should we attack these animals? And you both have Proto Man and Sally going basically both going like, wait, let's hold on, let's not rush into anything, and first and foremost, let's help these people that are in danger because of these worlds somehow fusing together. So yeah, basically, instead of fighting each other, they decided, okay, let's not do that just yet. Let's assess the situation and first of all help these people, which they do. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens while Sonic and Mega Man in the roboticized master forms are fighting each other. And at the same time, we have Styx along with X, Zero, and I can't think of the other one's name, arriving on the scene with, along with Comedy Chip and the Badger. And Styx basically is like, because X at first sees what's going on, he's like, oh no, because he just realizes they're a little too late. And then Styx, of course, states the obvious according to the caption box. She states the obvious. She's like, guys, remember how I said, you remember when I talked about trying to avert that disaster deal? I think we're a little too late on that. So yeah, basically it's during the whole battle that finally Sonic and Mega Man, they end up, like I say, they blast at the same time with the primary weapons and they revert each other back to normal. They get caught up to speed as to what's going on. Sonic kind of catches Mega Man up to speed, kind of gives him a refresher course, a reminder as to why maybe he and everybody else doesn't remember him, but he remembers them. So yeah, I know it sounds confusing. So basically, yeah, you get, Sonic and Mega Man, like I said, caught up to speed after they're restored to normal. They're, and of course, then Sonic kind of catches, like I say, Mega Man and Dr. Light and Roll, and all of them up to speed as to what's going on. The Maverick Hunters catch everybody else up to speed with the information they have, and everybody finally just starts to come together and realize that this is all a plot by Sigma, and basically, Sally kind of shares that information of from what Sonic and Mega Man's lingering memories, combined with the information they got from the Maverick Hunters. Basically, she shares the information they found out. Also finds out that they don't know much about the Unity engines, and even if they try to get past the shield that the Unity engines have, they don't know what that would cause either. So, yeah, basically they all finally agree, that they have to come together to stop Sigma and try to prevent whatever he's doing from completely happening, and kind of restore the worlds to normal. Now, during the whole situation of the fusion and merging of the worlds, we do get a cameo by Team Dark, and all of a sudden they're fusing the building that they're in. The gun headquarters is merging with another building from Mega Man's world, and that caught the gun carrier. I think, I don't know what it is merging with one of the government buildings in Mega Man's world, and basically Team Dark is trying to get their people, the gun people, or the gun allies, as well as the people out of Mega Man's world that are in the government building. They try to get them to safety, and that's when the big explosion happens, and basically all that's left is Shadow's inhibitor ring. But I think we kind of got an idea of what happened. I think we kind of understand that, because when you look at the panel, Shadow's holding on to one of the citizens in Mega Man's world's arm, and he's saying, "Hold on." And basically, if anybody's watched played as Shadow, or watched Sonic X, you pretty much know that when he does that, it's basically saying, "Hey, I'm going to use all my power to get everybody out of here," and that's exactly what he does. So, yeah, and his inhibitor ring does get left behind, but sometimes that does happen. Remember, when he does this, the inhibitor rings, they get removed. The inhibitor rings, I should say, they get removed from him, and they basically could fall in place. So I don't think Team Dark's dead or anything, because I don't think Sega would allow that. Would you? I think they'll show up probably later on in the arc, and Shadow's going to be like, maybe they'll have something between Sonic and Shadow will probably have to remind him, "Did you forget about my Chaos Control?" So yeah, so I do expect that probably to happen before this arc is over. Maybe as we get to the meat and potatoes, as I called it, and maybe even the main event of this entire crossover. So yeah, it's definitely definitely it's a good conclusion and everything. And like I said, Sonic and Mega Man, everybody gets caught up. They kind of share the information and realize that, hey, we all have one thing in common, and that is we have to stop this guy named Sigma from doing whatever he's doing by fusing our world, probably with other, as well as fusing everybody else's world, to try to gain whatever power he has. So, he wants, basically. So, overall, a decent conclusion to it, and can't wait to see what they got going for the for Sonic Universe 77. Now, as far as the backstory, because they did have a backup story, and this was basically the main Mega Man story for the comic, because this is the 50th issue, and it costs a little bit more because I think it's double size. You have Mega Man training, trying to get himself up to speed, trying to get himself back into shape, if you will, to kind of help fight Sigma. And of course you have Roll there, and Roll's kind of adjusting his blaster and all that, so it's more ready and everything to do what it's got to do. And then you have X come in, and you basically have a nice little connection, kind of a nice conversation here where both are training, because X decides, okay, I'll join you in the training as well, because like I said, what Mega Man originally is doing, he's trying to get back into shape, try to get himself back into fighting shape, and X is there as well. And they basically kind of explain their history with each other, what the connection they have with Light and Wily and Sigma and all that. So yeah, they basically kind of give us a brief explanation of the past 50-something issues and stuff like that, as some people pointed out. And then we have Zero and Proto Man come into the training room and tell them that they are needed in the war room. And that's based, and Roll's like, okay, we'll be right there. And as they're leaving, they both X and Mega Man have the same question for each other. They're like, hey, did you ever fight the red guy? And they both have a chuckle at it, going like, yeah, but it's complicated kind of deal. So overall, though, not a bad, like I said, conclusion to the first act of Worlds Unite. Thought it was okay. Pretty much figured out that they were going to get restored here. Sonic and Mega Man they were going to get restored here, so that was good. Again, I know some people might have a little bit of problems with the artwork, but I look at it like this. there's been a lot of crossovers in comic books and even in animation to where sometimes the art design is not the same way as you've seen it previously. I know that I know that with Spider-Man, when the Amazing Spider-Man came out in the 1990s, and he did the crossover with the X-Men, there were certain character designs that were a little off. I mean, a little off, I should say. Sorry about that. A little off, if you will. There were some character designs that were a little off at the time. So, I mean, Beast was not designed the way he was in the X-Men cartoon. Gambit was sort of the same way. Not designed not designed. Well, it had the same design, but different, coloring schemes and stuff like that. So, and that's to be expected because you basically have a different group of artists going off of what they see and giving their own interpretation, and like I say, going off what they see in the other shows or the other comics that these characters primarily appear in. So that's basically why Sonic and them are drawn the way they are, because you primarily have not only new artists, but you have a primary Mega Man artist taking the reins instead of going like, okay, Mega Man artist, you do the Mega Man characters, Sonic artist, you do the Sonic characters. So, yeah. It's basically like that. It's almost similar in a sense that when you take a look at Mario and Sonic's Olympic Games deal, excuse me, you look at Sonic and Mario's Olympic Games deal, and you see different characters there. You see different characters. And then designed differently. They incorporate it all into the same game, but you can tell it's different designers that incorporate them. You take a look at Smash, you have the same thing. We just got Ryu from Street Fighter in there. So you definitely know the Street Fighter people had something to do with that. They had to design Ryu into it. Or incorporate Ryu into the game. So, anyway, like I said, overall, besides the artwork, I thought it was a good conclusion to the first act, and I know I sound like I'm repeating that a lot. I apologize, but like I said, it's definitely a decent conclusion. And now we're going to be heading into the meat and potatoes of Worlds Unite, in which is 5 to 8. And according to Mega Man, okay, here's how it's going to go. Part 5 is going to be in Sonic Universe, Part 6 is going to be in Boom, Part 7 is going to be in the main Sonic comic, and Part 8 is going to be in Mega Man. And Mega Man's Part 8 deal is where we're going to see the inclusion or the addition of the Street Fighter characters in Ryu and Chun-Li. So those two are coming on board in issue 8 of Mega Man, which will be next month. So that's going to be really interesting to see. So yeah, we still got the rest of this month, which includes, I think, Sonic Universe and Boom. And then we get the main comic next month and the other comic, Part 8. And then we get Part 9 next month as well as Part 10. And then and then the beginning of August we finish it out with 11 and 12. As well as we get the Sonic edition of the Worlds Unite Battle books, as well. So overall, like I say, not too bad. A decent conclusion, and just cannot wait to see what they got in store for us when it comes to the meat and potatoes portion, which is the second act of Worlds Unite. So that's all.